Before we start, I want to say that only 1% of you are subscribed. Please subscribe because when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I will post a special video for you. The International Spaceport was bustling with activity, the hum of machinery and chatter filling the air. People from all over the globe gathered, eyes fixed on the massive digital screens announcing the imminent arrival of something unprecedented, the first peaceful alien visitors from Viridia. Jack Carter, a tall man with a thoughtful demeanor, navigated through the crowd, his badge marking him as a linguist and cultural ambassador. He was soon joined by Dr. Aaron Way, a seasoned astrophysicist, and Elena Marquez, a government liaison, both key figures in the upcoming interstellar diplomatic efforts. "Looks like the whole world's turned up," Elena said, scanning the crowd. Aaron chuckled, adjusting his glasses. "Wouldn't you, if you knew you were about to meet actual beings from another planet?" Jack nodded, his mind on the task ahead. "I just hope we get it right. First impressions matter, especially today." As the appointed time drew near, the crowd's murmur grew to a buzz of excitement. Suddenly, the large hangar doors began to open, revealing a sleek, silver spacecraft. It descended slowly, with graceful precision, landing softly on the tarmac. "This is it," Jack murmured, more to himself than to his companions. The ship's doors opened, and two figures emerged, their skin shimmering subtly under the Earth's sun. They were taller than the average human, slender, with an elegant gait that seemed almost choreographed. Their eyes, large and expressive, scanned the assembly of humans before them. Jack stepped forward as the designated speaker. "Welcome to Earth," he began, his voice steady despite the pounding in his chest. "I'm Jack Carter, and with me are Dr. Aaron Way and Ms. Elena Marquez. We are honored to meet you." The taller of the two aliens, Syl, nodded gracefully. "We are Syl and Lyra of Viridia. Your world is more beautiful than we imagined," she replied, her voice musical yet carrying perfectly over the crowd. Lyra stepped forward, her gaze intense yet friendly. "You showed us paradise from afar, and now we see it as even more splendid up close." Aaron stepped up, his scientific curiosity overcoming his initial reserve. "We're eager to learn about Viridia, your technology, and culture. There's so much we can share with each other." "Yes," Elena added warmly. "And we look forward to showing you our world, to finding common ground and building a friendship that, we hope, will last for generations." Syl and Lyra exchanged a glance, a silent conversation passing between them before Syl turned back to the group. "We hope for the same. Shall we begin?" Jack smiled. "Let's. We've arranged a small reception inside. There, we can talk more comfortably." As they walked towards the spaceport's main building, Jack, Aaron, and Elena introduced Syl and Lyra to various Earth delicacies prepared for the reception. Each item was explained, from sushi rolls to miniature quiches, which seemed to delight and intrigue that wins. Lyra, picking up a piece of sushi, examined it curiously. "Is all your food this artistic?" Jack laughed. "Not all, but we do enjoy making things pleasing to the eye as well as the palate." As the group settled around a table laden with Earth's finest, the conversation deepened, touching on topics from technological advancements to philosophical views on existence. The atmosphere was one of mutual fascination and respect, bridging worlds with words and laughter. As the chapter closed on the day's events, Jack felt a surge of optimism. The journey ahead would be challenging, but the groundwork for a profound connection was now laid, promising a future ripe with potential. The following morning, the cultural exchange facility was abuzz with anticipation. Today, Jack, Aaron, and several other key human representatives were to formally introduce Syl and Lyra to various aspects of human culture, ranging from language to entertainment. Jack met with Aaron and Dr. Liam Richardson, a sociologist, in the main conference room to discuss the day's schedule. Liam was a robust figure, his keen eyes missing nothing, always ready to delve into the nuances of social behavior. "Morning, Jack, Aaron. I've prepared a brief on societal norms and relational dynamics," Liam said, handing out tablets loaded with data. "I think it'll help them understand the context behind our interactions." Aaron nodded, flipping through the digital pages. "Good thinking. And I'll take them through some basic physics concepts, see how our understanding compares with theirs." Jack adjusted his glasses. "I'll start with languages then. It's not just about words, it's about conveying emotion, intention." As they entered the main hall, Syl and Lyra were waiting, their expressions eager. The twins' curiosity seemed boundless, their demeanor open and friendly, which put everyone at ease. "Good morning," Jack greeted. "Today, we thought we'd start with something universal: language. We'll show you how we communicate, not just through words but through music and art." Syl tilted her head, intrigued. We understand. Language shapes much of a civilization's structure. We are eager to learn your methods. Jack led them to a multimedia display where clips of various languages and musical performances were shown. Lyra was particularly fascinated by a video of an orchestra. The harmony, it's complex yet flows so well, Lyra commented. Aaron smiled. Music often mirrors the laws of physics: rhythm, wavelength, harmony, all parts of a greater whole. The group moved on to a smaller room where Liam had set up his presentation on human social structures and interactions. As you'll see, Liam began, human societies vary greatly, influenced by geography, history, and other factors. But at the core, we all share common needs and desires. Lyra listened intently, then said, in Viridia, our society is more homogeneous, but we value the individual's contribution to the collective knowledge. The morning passed with lively discussions and exchanges of ideas. After lunch, Elena joined them with a new guest, Michael Chen, a renowned artist who was going to introduce the concept of visual art to the twins. Art can communicate things that words cannot, Michael explained as he guided them through an art gallery set up in the facility. Each piece tells a story or expresses an emotion. Syl was drawn to an abstract painting, its swirls of blue and green evoking a sense of calm. This feels peaceful, she remarked. Exactly, Michael nodded. Art can evoke feelings and reactions subtly but powerfully. As the day wound down, the group gathered in a lounge, reflecting on everything discussed. Jack initiated a more informal conversation to wind down. So, what do you think of what you've seen today? He asked. Syl exchanged a look with Lyra before replying, it is fascinating. Your diversity is your strength, it seems. In Viridia, we often seek harmony, perhaps at the expense of such diversity. Aaron leaned in, interested. That's an interesting point. Perhaps there's a middle ground to explore between our cultures. Lyra smiled, we look forward to that exploration. As the group parted ways for the evening, there was a sense of accomplishment and mutual respect among them all. The day had been a success, paving the way for deeper understanding and stronger bonds between Earth and Viridia. The sun was just beginning to rise over the city skyline, casting a golden hue that promised another day of novel experiences and enriching exchanges. Today, Jack had planned a series of outings designed to introduce Syl and Lyra to more dynamic and hands-on aspects of human culture. Dr. Eric Sanders, a cultural anthropologist, joined Jack, Aaron, and the twins. His expertise in human cultural practices would offer a deeper, more practical understanding of human life. Morning everyone, Eric greeted them warmly as they gathered outside the cultural exchange facility. Today's going to be fun. We're starting with a trip to the local market. It's a vibrant place where all sorts of cultural elements fuse. Lyra looked excited. We read about marketplaces. They are central to commerce and social interaction, correct? That's right, Jack replied as they boarded a small electric shuttle. It's where you see the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Upon arriving at the market, the group was greeted by sights, sounds, and smells that were a feast for the senses. Vendors called out their wares, from exotic fruits to handmade crafts, while locals mingled, bargaining and chatting. Aaron led the way to a stall selling traditional spices. These are used in various dishes to enhance flavor. Each region has its own preferred blend, he explained, handing Syl a small packet to smell. The complexity is fascinating, Syl observed, her senses tingling from the strong aromas. Eric chimed in, food is a great part of our cultural identity. It tells stories of our history and geography. As they moved through the market, Jack noticed Lyra's interest in a group of street musicians playing lively tunes. Music is a universal language, he said. Would you like to try? Lyra nodded eagerly, and one of the musicians, spotting their interest, offered her a simple percussion instrument. With a bit of guidance, she soon joined in, her rhythm syncing perfectly with the band. Seems you've got a natural talent there, Jack laughed, watching her enjoy the music. The morning passed quickly, filled with laughter and learning. For lunch, they decided to eat at a local cafe renowned for its fusion cuisine, blending elements from various Earth cultures. As they enjoyed their meal, Eric began discussing the concept of fusion not just in food, but in all aspects of culture. Fusion represents adaptation and evolution. It's how new ideas are born, he explained. Syl, trying a particularly spicy dish, agreed. Adaptation seems essential for survival and growth. We have similar concepts in Viridia, though perhaps less varied. After lunch, the group visited a technology hub where innovators showcased their latest projects. Aaron, ever the scientist, was enthusiastic. Technology is another arena where different disciplines merge to create something new. It's much like your integration of biotechnology and daily life, isn't it? Sil nodded. Indeed, though seeing your applications sparks new ideas for potential collaborations. The day concluded at a quiet park, where they reflected on their experiences. Sil and Lyra shared their thoughts first. Today was enlightening, Sil started. Seeing your culture in action, the diversity and the integration of so many elements, it's inspiring. Lyra added, and participating, not just observing, made it more tangible. It feels like we're truly beginning to understand humanity. Jack smiled, pleased with the progress. I'm glad to hear that. It's important to us that you feel part of our world during your stay. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the park, the group made their way back to the facility. It had been a day of shared experiences and deep conversations, each moment bringing Earth and Viridia closer in understanding and friendship. Under the canopy of a starlit sky, the team, including Jack, Aaron, and a new member, Dr. Thomas Reed, a behavioral psychologist, gathered at a cozy observatory located at the outskirts of the city. The objective tonight was less about formal cultural exchange and more about sharing the human experience of stargazing, a universal pastime transcending worlds. Thomas, carrying a portable telescope, set it up while explaining, stargazing is not just a hobby, it's often a moment of introspection, a reminder of our place in the universe. Sil and Lyra, intrigued by the setup, watched intently as Thomas adjusted the lens, pointing it toward a brightly twinkling star. Here, take a look, he invited Sil, who peered through the telescope with visible enthusiasm. The clarity, Sil murmured, awestruck. In Viridia, we too look to the stars and ponder. Lyra joined next, her eyes widening in amazement. It's beautiful. It's as though we can touch them. Jack smiled, watching their wonder. The stars have a way of making us feel connected, don't they? Despite the vast distances. As the night deepened, the group sat around a small campfire that Thomas had prepared, the warmth a comfort against the chill of the night. Aaron pulled out a few marshmallows and sticks, introducing the concept of making s'mores. It's a bit of a tradition here during such outings, Aaron explained, demonstrating how to roast a marshmallow. It's simple but enjoyable. Lyra, attempting to roast her marshmallow, ended up with it slightly charred. The group chuckled softly, the atmosphere relaxed and friendly. It seems there is an art to this as well, Lyra said, amused at her own attempt. As they enjoyed their treats, the conversation drifted to more personal topics. Jack, feeling the moment was right, decided to delve deeper into understanding their new friends. Sil, Lyra, he started, back on Viridia, what is it like? Your personal experiences, your families? Sil exchanged a glance with Lyra before responding. Viridia is serene, mostly. Our communities are closely knit, but family units are different from yours. We are communal, we consider all Viridians our family. Lyra nodded, adding, our bonds are formed by choice, through shared experiences and mutual respect, much like tonight. Thomas, intrigued, leaned in. And love? How is it perceived in your culture? This question seemed to make the twins pause, their expressions thoughtful. Sil took a deep breath before answering. Love, as you may define it, is more than a personal connection for us. It's a lifelong bond that extends into our communal duties. And it's why, Lyra continued, her voice soft, these moments with you all, learning your ways, it's profound. It resonates on a level we did not anticipate. The group absorbed her words, the fire crackling in the background. Jack, sensing the depth of their revelation, decided to probe a little further. Do you think, perhaps, that a bond, a deep one, could form between us humans and Viridians? There was a pause, the weight of the question hanging in the air. Finally, Sil responded, her voice steady. I believe so. These exchanges, they're not just diplomatic. They're personal, and yes, we feel a bond, Jack. The declaration was met with a mix of emotions: surprise, contemplation, and a quiet acknowledgement of the growing closeness among them. As the evening ended, the group packed up, the stars overhead witnesses to a pivotal moment in their interstellar friendship. They returned to the city quieter than before, each lost in thought about the new possibilities that lay ahead. Early morning rays flickered through the curtains of the conference room where Jack, Aaron, and Dr. Henry Morgan, a noted cultural integration expert, were preparing for an unusual session. Today, they were set to explore the intricacies of human emotional and physical expressions through art and touch, an experience tailored to deepen the Viridians' understanding of human intimacy. Henry, unfolding a series of prints and sculptures, explained, We'll explore the representation of love and companionship in human art, then discuss the human touch, a fundamental aspect of our interaction. Sil and Lyra entered the room, their expressions curious yet reserved, likely pondering the upcoming discussions. "Good morning," Jack greeted, motioning toward the displayed artwork. "Today, we're focusing on more personal aspects of humanity, how we express affection and form bonds." Lyra approached a sculpture depicting two figures entwined in an embrace. "This is beautiful," she commented, "the intimacy is palpable." Henry nodded. "Art often captures emotions that are universal, yet experienced so diversely." Aaron, pulling up a series of images on a tablet, added, "These are depictions of different types of relationships: familial, platonic, and romantic. Each has its own depth and importance." As they discussed the artwork, Jack noticed the twins' fascination, particularly with representations of romance. He decided to transition to the next phase of the session. In human culture, touch is integral to expressing care and love. It's more than just physical, it communicates trust, safety, and belonging. Sil, her interest piqued, asked, "Could you demonstrate?" Jack glanced at Aaron, who nodded in agreement. Carefully, Jack reached out and placed his hand on Aaron's shoulder in a gesture of camaraderie, then shook hands with Henry, showing respect and equality. "These are simple touches among friends and colleagues," Jack explained. "Is it always so structured?" Lyra inquired, her tone mixed with curiosity and a hint of amusement. Henry laughed softly. "Not always. There's spontaneity, especially in more personal relationships." Encouraged by the open dialogue, Sil stepped forward. "May I?" she asked, gesturing toward Jack. With his consent, Sil mimicked the earlier gestures, her touch hesitant at first, then more assured. The room fell silent, the moment significant as they crossed a boundary of interspecies interaction. Jack, moved by the trust shown, gently reciprocated, placing a hand on Sil's arm. "Touch among humans can also comfort, reassure," he said, his voice low, conveying the depth of the gesture. Lyra, observing the exchange, nodded slowly. "I understand better now. On Viridia, touch is less common outside of family or chosen partners. What we experienced here today, it's enlightening." Aaron, keen to lighten the mood, chimed in, "It's also just a part of how we connect. We laugh together, work together, sometimes even cry together. It's all part of being human." The session ended with a light-hearted activity organized by Henry. He had set up a small canvas and paints. "Why don't we try creating something together? A piece of art that symbolizes today's learning?" Together, they painted, their strokes blending on the canvas, colors merging without boundaries, a metaphor for their growing understanding and connection. Jack found himself working closely with Sil, their hands occasionally brushing as they painted, each touch a new word in their shared language of understanding. As they stepped back to admire their collaborative artwork, Jack felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Today had not only bridged their cultures but had also woven a thread of intimacy through shared experience, promising deeper connections in the days to come. On a crisp, clear morning, the conference room buzzed with a tense energy, a stark contrast to the previous day's harmonious interactions. Today, a delegation of Earth's government officials, including a high-ranking diplomat, Thomas Grant, had joined the cultural exchange team to assess the progress and address emerging concerns about the integration of Viridian culture with human society. Jack, alongside Aaron and Dr. Simon Bates, a political analyst, prepared to defend the strides made in fostering a relationship based on mutual understanding and trust. Sil and Lyra, sensing the shift in atmosphere, stood quietly by, their expressions serious. Thomas Grant, a seasoned diplomat with sharp features, initiated the session with a firm tone. "We've observed the exchanges with great interest," he began, glancing at a folder of notes before him. "But there are concerns about the speed and implications of such close integration. We need to ensure that our societal norms are maintained." Simon responded smoothly, "It's understandable to approach this with caution, Mr. Grant. However, the benefits of cultural exchange, new perspectives, technologies, even potential alliances far outweigh the risks." Jack noted the official's skepticism and decided to illustrate the positive outcomes. "Let me share some insights from our sessions," he said, projecting images of their joint activities and the artwork they had created together. "These interactions have not only broadened our understanding but also enriched our cultural tapestry. Sil and Lyra have shown great respect for our ways." Sil stepped forward, her voice calm yet firm. "We value this partnership. Our aim is not to overshadow but to enrich and learn from each other. We believe in cooperation, not domination." Lyra added, "Our philosophy is one of harmony and balance. The fears you have, while understandable, are not what we wish to bring forth. Aaron chimed in with a technical perspective. Also, consider the scientific and technological strides we've made by sharing knowledge. It's a two-way street that promises to elevate both our civilizations. Thomas listened, his expression thoughtful. These points are valid, but we must consider public opinion and the readiness of our people to accept and adapt to these changes. Dr. Bates, ever the strategist, suggested a proactive approach. Perhaps a series of public forums, involving community leaders, educators, and citizens, could help alleviate fears and foster a more inclusive understanding. Jack nodded in agreement. Involvement leads to acceptance. We can organize exhibitions, lectures, even joint community projects to showcase the benefits of this partnership. The meeting continued with detailed discussions on proposed strategies to ensure smooth cultural integration without disrupting societal norms. Each member contributed, outlining steps for gradual, informed integration processes, emphasizing education and community involvement. As the session drew to a close, Thomas Grant appeared more receptive. Your efforts have clearly been extensive and thoughtful. We'll take these suggestions back to the Council. It's crucial that this process remains transparent and inclusive. Syl and Lyra thanked the officials, their demeanor reflecting both relief and a renewed sense of purpose. Jack, Aaron, and the team felt a cautious optimism as the officials departed. Afterward, the team gathered briefly to debrief. That could have gone much worse, Simon remarked with a wry smile. Aaron clapped Jack on the back. Well handled, everyone. It's about keeping the dialogue open and making sure everyone feels heard. Jack looked at Syl and Lyra, their faces alight with hope and determination. We're on the right path, he said. Challenges are part of any major endeavor, but understanding and patience can lead us through. As they left the conference room, the group felt more united than ever, ready to face the challenges ahead with a shared commitment to bridge two worlds, one step at a time. In the soft glow of the early evening, Jack, Aaron, and Dr. Victor Lane, an expert in intercultural relations, prepared the Viridian Embassy's main hall for an event that was both unprecedented and historic. Tonight, Jack would formally commit to his relationship with Syl and Lyra, blending human and Viridian traditions in a small but significant ceremony. Victor adjusted the placement of various cultural symbols around the room, each carefully chosen to represent both Earth and Viridia's heritage. This is more than a ceremony, it's a symbol of unity and acceptance, he remarked, ensuring everything was perfect. Aaron, who had become more than just a colleague through this journey, checked the tech setup for the evening. We're making history here, Jack. Are you ready for this? Jack nodded, his expression serene yet filled with anticipation. I've never been more certain of anything. This is right, Aaron. It feels right. As guests began to arrive, including diplomats, scientists, and representatives from both worlds, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of curiosity and wonder. Among them, Thomas Grant, who had initially expressed reservations, now showed a look of genuine interest. Syl and Lyra entered together, their appearance strikingly adorned in traditional Viridian attire, which shimmered subtly under the hall lights. The guests were captivated by their elegance and the serene confidence they exuded. Victor stepped forward to begin the ceremony. Tonight, we witness and celebrate a remarkable union. This isn't just a personal commitment but a profound bond that bridges two very different cultures. Jack joined Syl and Lyra at the center of the hall, his heart full as he looked into their eyes. I came into this as a diplomat and a guide, but I stand here now as a partner and a friend. I pledge to honor and cherish the bond we have formed. Syl responded, her voice clear and melodious. In Viridian culture, a bond is eternal, a promise to not only support but to grow together. Jack, we offer you this same commitment, to learn from each other and to face any challenge together. Lyra added, we came to your world seeking understanding and peace. What we found was much more a home and a shared future. Victor then handed Jack a small, crafted artifact, a blend of earth metals and Viridian crystals. This symbolizes your intertwined lives, a fusion of worlds and ideals. The guests watched in silence, moved by the simplicity and depth of the ceremony. Thomas Grant, moved by the proceedings, approached the trio afterward. I must admit, I had my doubts. But seeing this, the genuine bonds you formed. It's truly inspiring. It gives us all a lot to think about in terms of coexistence and mutual respect. Aaron, joining the conversation, smiled. It's a new chapter for all of us. One that's written together, respecting each other's narratives. As the evening progressed, the hall filled with laughter and music, a blend of earth and Viridian melodies playing in the background. Jack, Syl, and Lyra mingled with guests, their joy and unity evident to all. Later, as the guests began to depart, Victor stayed back to share a quiet moment with Jack. "You three are pioneers in a way. What you've started here, it's going to change how we approach not just diplomacy, but how we see the universe and our place in it." Jack looked over at Sil and Lyra, who were speaking animatedly with a group of young scientists, their faces alight with enthusiasm. "I think that's the point, Victor. We're not just sharing a planet, we're sharing a life. And every day, we'll learn a little more about what that means." As the night drew to a close, the embassy quieted down, leaving Jack, Sil, and Lyra to reflect on the significance of their commitment. They knew the path ahead would be filled with challenges, but they were ready to face them together, as partners, bound by love and a shared vision for a future where two worlds could indeed become one. The morning light filtered through the large windows of Jack's home, now a shared residence with Sil and Lyra. The living space had been rearranged to accommodate their collective needs, blending earthly comforts with Viridian aesthetics. The result was a harmonious blend of cultures, tangible in every corner of the home. As they gathered in the kitchen, the scent of coffee mixed with the alien equivalent of breakfast, nutrient-rich, vibrantly colored fruit from Viridia filled the air. Dr. Marcus Chen, a biologist specializing in extraterrestrial flora, had joined them to discuss the integration of Viridian plant life into Earth's ecosystems. "Good morning," Marcus greeted, handing out a smooth, purple fruit to Jack and Aaron, who had dropped by to join the discussion. "These are incredible, not just in taste but in their nutritional value." Jack took a bite, smiling at the sweet and tangy flavor. "They're definitely a hit. It's amazing to see how well they're adapting to Earth soil in the greenhouse." Sil, who had been tending to a small indoor garden, joined them at the table. "We hoped they would thrive here. It's important for us to bring parts of Viridia with us, just as we've embraced parts of your world." Lyra, pulling up some data on a tablet, added, "And the cross-pollination experiments have shown promising results. It could lead to advancements in agriculture for both our worlds." The conversation shifted towards their day-to-day experiences, integrating their lives more deeply. Aaron, always curious, asked, "How have you found the adjustment to Earth? Beyond the biological, I mean." Lyra exchanged a glance with Sil before responding. "It's been an enlightening journey. Living here, sharing spaces and moments, has taught us much about the human condition. And about ourselves," Sil added, her tone reflective. "We've learned to balance our inherent need for community with the human need for individual expression. It's a dance, of sorts." Marcus nodded, clearly fascinated. "It's a unique situation, isn't it? Two species, learning from each other in real time, under the same roof." Jack, looking around at his friends and partners, felt a surge of gratitude. "It's more than unique, it's life-changing. Every day brings new challenges, but also new joys." The discussion turned to future plans. With their successful integration at home, Jack, Sil, and Lyra were considering expanding their efforts to public outreach, hoping to foster broader acceptance and understanding between humans and Viridians. "What about hosting some workshops or talks?" Marcus suggested. "Showcase what you've achieved here, maybe even display some of that cross-species gardening?" Aaron was quick to support the idea. "I think it's a great way to demystify this cohabitation. Education is key, and who better to lead it than you three?" As the meeting concluded, Jack and his companions spent the rest of the day preparing for the upcoming workshops. They designed interactive sessions that would allow Earth residents to experience Viridian culture firsthand, from art and food to technology and gardening. Later, as they relaxed in their living room, reviewing everything that had been set up for their first public session, Jack felt a profound sense of peace. "Look at us," he mused aloud. "Who would have thought, huh? From formal meetings to family breakfasts." Sil smiled, reaching out to squeeze his hand. "It's the paradise we saw when we first arrived, remember? Only now, it's not just a place, but a shared existence." Lyra looked around, her eyes gleaming with contentment. "Yes, this is paradise. Made real by understanding, respect, and love." As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the room, the trio sat in silence, each lost in thought but united in their shared journey. They had shown each other their worlds, bridged gaps once thought insurmountable, and in doing so, had created a new world where both humanity and Viridian culture could flourish together.